G'day and welcome to the first episode of Crank the Third. This is the podcast where we explore the entrepreneurial and creative side of life post 50. Now, it's not the first episode of this podcast. This podcast was formerly known as Reputation Revolution, and we had something like 280 episodes where we delved into all things professional, personal branding, building a thought leadership, positioning in the marketplace, very much aimed at credible entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, experts and professionals. And I've now decided to rebadge, relaunch, rebrand it as Crank the Third. I have found out that a lot of my listeners over the past have, over the years, are credible entrepreneurs, people who are, been in the game 2-3 decades, and that's who my audience was. And I always found that I wanted to broaden the base of it, and I'll get into that in a tick of what to expect from this. So let me unpack why I've made these changes and what to expect in the future, and a little bit about the name. What is Crank the Third? Now, about this podcast, Crank the Third is I'm billing it as the show for motivated individuals who are aged around the 50 mark and are over. Those who have been in the business and professional trenches for some 3+ decades, and you have the metaphorical scars on the knuckles and the scuffs on the knees to prove that you've been around and you've got that knowledge and that wisdom. So you've seen and done a lot over the journey, and you've now reached an age and stage of life where you might be thinking, what next? Do I continue with sell or downsize my business? Do I pivot my career so I can focus on doing something more meaningful? Do I adopt a portfolio approach to my work and build out some numerous streams of income? Do I wind back my workload and develop a side hustle around one of my passions? Do I take the plunge and move to another country altogether and work from there? Do I write a book, that book that I've always been talking about that I'm going to write? Or do I start a YouTube channel and become a full-time creator? That's a job title that wasn't around even 10 years ago. But we're seeing more and more people 50 plus becoming full-time content creators. So we're going to think expansively here on the show. So the bottom line is, those of us who are in this stage of professional life, we have oodles of experience under our belt. We've racked up years worth of practical knowledge and vocational expertise. Not to mention, we're a lot more sure of ourselves and confident in our own abilities. We are indeed impressive, well-rounded human packages with skills and wisdom to burn, and everything is at our feet. But we also live in a fast-paced, volatile world. Technology is ever-changing, and the AI wave it's really only just begun. A sense of uncertainty is never far away. We know that if we stand still, we run the risk of losing relevance, and we're all aware that ageism remains a burning issue in many industries. Not all industries, but in a lot of industries. So no matter how savvy, experienced and connected we are, certain challenges remain. But on the upside, the number of opportunities staring us in the face is enormous and unprecedented, I would say. So the goal of Crank the Third is to inspire energized, forward-thinking 50-somethings to continue to think expansively and create and creatively about their current situation, and to ponder, plot and plan the exciting road you have ahead of you. Now, what's in the name? Why Crank the Third? Well, I like to think of our professional life broadly in 3 stages or chapters. Chapter 1 is 20s to mid-30s. We don't know as much as we think we do in this period of time. Many of us are simply trying to work out where we fit in the world, and over time and potentially after a few false starts, we start getting our shit together. We start becoming more focused, and if we're lucky, we settle on a pathway that satisfies our personal and professional ambitions. Chapter 2 is mid-30s, say, through our 40s. Now, we're kings and queens of the universe in this period of time, professionally speaking, of course. We're taking on the world, we're moving and shaking, creating waves, getting stuff done. Maybe we start a business or dedicate ourselves to climbing the ladder, corporate or otherwise. We're powering along, making money, gaining experience and status in our professional life, and no doubt becoming a little bit exhausted and maybe a little bit disillusioned along the way. Now, this chapter of our lives can be quite chaotic and demanding. It's often punctuated with life milestones such as starting a family and or buying a home. We become saddled with responsibilities, financial or otherwise, and have no other option but to plough on regardless, either busting through or just busting. Which brings us to chapter 3, and I've largely said this is kind of 50 plus, 50s and 60s. So by age 50, we've seen a lot, we've done most things, we've made some cash, we've expanded our horizons and probably are more comfortable in our skin than at any other time. But it's not all necessarily all sunshine and roses either. At some stage, many of us get to a point where we ask, is that all there is? Maybe our work life or our life more generally has lost a bit of purpose and a bit of meaning. Perhaps we've fallen out of love with the business we've started or the career we've so diligently followed. Maybe we want to cash in on our smarts and our wisdom and create a one-person enterprise in order to achieve both of our financial and lifestyle goals. So maybe we feel like the world is moving too quickly and that we're falling behind and run the risk of losing professional relevance. Maybe we realise we have much to offer the world, but are a little unsure about how to go about things and we just need a little push. Maybe we've become stuck in our ways and understand that it's important to kick complacency to the curb. So chapter 3, this is about representing a world of unparalleled opportunity for savvy, motivated individuals who don't want to slink away into obscurity. And this professional chapter of our lives can or should be an exciting one. For many of us, our kids are now semi-independent teenagers or have grown up and moved out of home. We're probably more financially stable than any other time in our lives. We're comfortable in our own skin and understand our strengths and quirks and foibles. We know what we like and what we don't like, and our values and principles pretty much set in stone by this point. But we also understand that the world is in a state of flux and we need to move with it in order to stay relevant and to put ourselves in a position to take advantage of the myriad lifestyle and business opportunities and options as they present themselves. But equally, understanding that our collective experience, knowledge, wisdom, and real-life connections provide us with a definite edge in the marketplace. So how can we position ourselves to continue to make a dent in the world? In short, we've accomplished so much in our lifetime, but still have a lot to give. We don't just want to ride away into the professional sunset, but rather we want to ensure that we make this later stage in our professional lives, or our lives generally, this third chapter, if you will, as stimulating and exciting and rewarding as it can be. In short, we want to crank the third. So that's really what the thinking behind the podcast is of Crank the Third. And I'll just now just sort of take you through some of the content themes that I want to cover over a period of time. If you've been a listener of Reputation Revolution, you'll know that, it's reasonable territory that we've been covering. And there's a lot to do with establishing your personal brand and to extend the reach of your voice and to then enhance your credibility in the marketplace and then to take advantage of the options available as you build a personal brand-based business. We'll be looking at covering some of those things, but we're going to expand the content out and the themes that we discuss. So I'm talking about stories, tips, advice, and actionable insights that will keep us energized and relevant. And now I'm talking across, there's 6 big themes: lifestyle. So this is about living life on our terms, running our own race, integrating lifestyle with business. Mindset is number 2, understanding our purpose, staying mentally strong, focused and motivated. Number 3 is entrepreneurship, building a micro business around our skills, our knowledge and our expertise. Number 4 is PR and marketing more broadly, building out our profile and reputation and promoting our personal brand business. Number 5 is AI and technology, and that's about keeping up to date and staying up to date and relevant with emerging technology trends. And finally, creativity is number 6, our number 6 theme. This is about exploring our creative passions, stories of career pivots, and expanding our horizons. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a feel about how we plan to roll out Crank the Third, what Crank the Third means, and everything that comes underneath it, which is around, our overarching banner is about exploring the entrepreneurial and creative side of life post 60. So I hope you like what we're talking about here, some of these ideas, and I hope that you'll subscribe to the podcast and check out future episodes as they roll out. Thanks for joining us.